Trigger warning. In this episode, there are descriptions of potential miscarriage. Please be mindful while listening. If you enjoy listening to inspirational stories from people just like us, facing the fear and doing it anyway, then you're in the right place. My name is Claire Hill, and this is the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 8 of No Rest for the Vivid. I do apologise straight off the bat before I even go into my little introduction. My son, it is half term, and during half term I don't have full-time childcare for him, which is good because then I get to be mum. However, he's not napping and is talking to himself and singing to himself Three Little Men in a Flying Saucer. So you may hear him sing in a minute. He's on the monitor. This is the only chance I'm going to get to record the intro, as I need to get the podcast ready to publish to you all. So I thought, well, this is authentic, isn't it? This is, yeah, there he goes. So I can't wait any longer, and I'm just having to record it. So I do apologise for the background noise. Anyway, how are you all doing? Firstly, a huge thank you to all of you who put orders in for Christmas. I'm absolutely blown away. It was my best launch ever, and I'm really proud of the designs. If you haven't seen it yet, on Thursday night, me and my father-in-law, Chris, put together a little show of all of the collection, and I sort of called him Father Christmas, but he hasn't got a big white beard. He loved it though. I think everyone needs a little bit more of him on my lives. He's hilarious. But it was really successful. I'm really in love with the products, and I can't wait to actually dress my house in them all. But yeah, I'm going to put the link for all my Christmas collection in the show notes, just if you fancy having a look. I've brought out the Trussell Trust decoration again this year. Last year I raised £1,100 or maybe £1,200, one of the two, for Trussell Trust. Trussell Trust is a charity that provides emergency food for people living in poverty, and it's really important cause to me because I grew up in poverty. And during these holiday seasons, when I was growing up, 30 years ago, when I was young, I'm 36 now, there wasn't the same kind of support out there as there is now. So it's really important to me that now I'm in a place where I can discuss and promote charities that are important to me, that I do something about it. So for £10 from every Trussell Trust decoration goes straight to the Trussell Trust. They're £13.50. The other £3.50 just covers costs. I don't pay myself anything out of those decorations. And I'm much more planned, much more organised this year. Last year, I put them on and I'd sold like 200 before 10 o'clock. I was blown away, and I got really panicked because then I had to make all 200 because I hadn't been organised beforehand. But it seems it's much more organised this year, so that's good. Also, I've opened a mailing list for my other business, Claire Hill Coaching. If you're interested, I'm going to put the little link in the show notes for that. But I'm really enjoying my work in life at the minute, and I think that needs to be said. I'm going to blow my own trumpet. I don't think we celebrate each other enough, or ourselves enough, actually. I am really bad at celebrating my wins, and I feel that being able to get my orders out on time, as in within my lead times, that, my processing times, being able to launch a coaching business and run a podcast, yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm absolutely loving work at the minute, really, really loving it. And I get to be a mum. Like, I've been a mum today. Well, mum every day, you know what I mean? But actually done fun stuff with my son. So yeah, I am on top of the world at the minute. So if you sign up to the coaching mailing list, I am going to be putting some tips and tricks together for improving small business mindset, making you feel a bit more empowered with what you're up to. And that's going to go out once or twice a week. I've not figured that part out. And I am putting together a group and one-to-one coaching program with limited spaces that I'm so excited about, honestly. When you have an idea and you're whole body vibrates, because it's like, that sounded weird, but you know what I mean? Like, you get goose pimples because you're just so excited that I'm going to be able to help loads of people that were like me a year or two ago. It's just really, really exciting. I've recently started coaching, and I'm part of a group of wonderful women. Like, they are amazing. We're a girl band, that's what we've been saying. And it was so scary to actually invest in myself, because it was sort of like, am I worth this amount of money? But I really am, and I'm already getting so much out of it. It was really scary, but it's so worth it. So I'm going to stop wanging on, because you want to get on with this episode. I've had the wonderful Heena on this week. Heena runs Mummy's Bubble, which is a felt ball decoration shop, and she designs the most beautiful art that you can hang in your house. We discussed being small business owners, but the most important part of this podcast is the fact that we talk about mental health and how important it is to raise mental health awareness. So it's a brilliant episode. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to rate and, well, I say subscribe. I don't think you can subscribe to podcasts anymore, but you can follow podcasts now, I think. So please follow it. Please leave a rating or even a review if you can. I really, really appreciate it. All the info to where you can find all of the details for anything and about Heena are in the show notes. Hello, Heena. I hope you enjoy it. Have a wonderful week. Hello. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. How are you today? You sitting comfy?
Yeah, very, very. Got my nice cup of tea as well, so good. All set.
Excellent. You read the memo about making sure you're nice and comfy with a cup of tea then?
I did, yeah.
Amazing. So, what's your name and where do you come from and what do you do?
So I'm Heena. I am from Milton Keynes, but originally from London. And I run my own business. So from home, creating felt ball decoration, from garlands and mobiles, flowers, paper clips, the whole shebang.
Paper clips?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Felt ball stationery.
Had to hit the stationery because I'm an addict on stationery.
Yeah. Me too. I've got past that fear of that notebook is too nice to write in. I've got past that.
I still go through that.
But I had 14 unused notebooks and I was like, this has got to stop. So I started actually writing in them. So yeah, you've got a beautiful little business, and your work is, I love like your Instagram profile, because all of it just seems so calming on your Instagram profile. It's not like mine is like explosion of image, but yours is really soft, neutral tones, really calming. Is that intentional?
Last year it was very just hapdashery. I just kind of whatever I wanted to post, I was posting. It was actually really bright. So if you scroll down quite like to the end of December, it's a different world altogether. And then from January, I was like, I need to just give it a total revamp, which is exactly what I did. And yeah, I kind of curated it to like a quote or a saying, and then the following post to be an image or a video, but mainly an image. And then, yeah, I kind of just work along that way. But yeah, I quite like it. It's a little bit more easier as well, because I kind of know what I need to post next, rather than just having to think, oh, should I do a quote or should I do like, an image of some sort.
So you've got a social media plan, have you?
Yeah, in my head.
Well done for having it in your head. So most people don't even have that. It's like, oh, I need to post today. Yeah. Oh no, that's good. So how did you get into felt ball decoration?
So I used to actually do teething before, but we kind of quit that market because it became just too saturated. And whilst I was doing that, I did start the felt ball brand. So that started about 4 years ago when my son was, when I was on maternity leave with my son. And what we ended up doing was just creating a brand at home from our 2-bedroom flat. And we just, I just wanted something for myself, something creative, an outlet for myself, because I was working in a corporation and I didn't really enjoy it. So I needed my own grasp and my own humanity, especially becoming a mum. You know, you kind of lose yourself. And, that was really important for me to kind of have some control over something in my life. And creativity is definitely one of those things. The felt ball side, it's just I don't know, I was just trying out stuff, and I really liked the whole idea of natural products, especially as like, you know, with the eco footprint, and you know, we were trying to use like natural products on my kids and things like that as well, and around the house. So for the business to be aimed in that way as well, it was really important. And felt balls are technically just wool, you know, wool, water, natural dye, and you know, they just created yeah, pretty much.
I didn't even know they were made out of wool.
Yeah. So it's a fully natural product, which is fantastic. And the string that it's strung on is cotton, so you can't really go wrong.
But if you've got felt decorations all over your home.
I do. Yeah, we redecorated my kids' rooms beginning of last year, and they both wanted some sort of garland in their room. So they made their own garlands and popped them up on the windows. So we've got them up on the windows around the curtain pole. And then I've got one in the living room, and obviously it's just they're everywhere. Everywhere I look, my kids are collecting them. You know, if they're like slightly damaged, oh, can I have it?
Oh, really?
Pot, so I find it later.
So
There's flowers and all sorts. Yeah.
Oh, wow. They're fully
quite
involved.
Crazy. Yeah, very.
Oh, amazing. So the business side, how have you developed and grown your business over time? Did you have a plan at the beginning?
I did actually, because
well
what we decided was that if we were going to do it, we're going to have to do it properly. Otherwise, it's easy to kind of call it quits, and don't really take it too seriously, which it is. It's simple to do, right? You know, you start off and then you kind of just go, oh, it's not working. So our initial investment was literally like £500. It was a little bit of our money and a little bit my dad put in, and we thought that is all we're going to invest. If we can make something from that £500 kitty, we're good. We're not going to put any of our personal money into it. We're literally just going to keep reinvesting. And that is exactly what we did. So it has just grown, like financially, it's just grown in that way, like from that that initial £500,
wow.
You know, with a following of hardly anyone online. Nobody knew who we were when we first popped up. So it's been quite an interesting journey. And, you know, we haven't taken anything out. It's only this year where I was like, I need to start paying myself. And that's like 4 years later, where it was like, I need to take money out for me now.
And how did you feel making that decision?
To take the money out?
Yeah, to pay yourself.
Yeah. Oh, it was massive.
Yeah.
It was massive.
So from your work with your business, if you visit Heena's Instagram, you do a lot of work around mental health awareness, don't you? Which I think is all credit to you. And this month is sort of a mental health focus over on your Instagram profile, isn't it? Because it's World Mental Health Day, which was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was around the 10th.
Yeah. So how did you fall into doing so much work around mental health awareness?
To be very honest, like I never kind of knew that I suffered from mental health. Growing up and stuff, I probably did. You know, back then there wasn't very much talk about it, or no one really took it very seriously. It was only when I became a mum with my daughter, obviously you end up with the baby blues and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And I went through all of it. Again, I didn't take much notice because it kind of subsided and I kind of just went on with my life. But when I fell pregnant with my son, I was having a lot of pain, and I went to the doctors and they just kind of brushed me off and said I was having a miscarriage.
God,
and it was just like I had like she was like my 2-year-old daughter with me, and I was just like sitting there going like, okay, can you check me? Can you do anything? Like, you know, how can you just say I'm just having a miscarriage? Like, I was freaked out. And they're like, you have to go to hospital, and they'll check you out. We drove down to the hospital, me and my daughter. We sat there for 5 hours, and literally nobody knew that I was even pregnant at the time, except for me and my husband. Even my daughter, she didn't really know. She was just kind of going along with it. You know. And it was one of the most scariest times, because I've never been through that experience, you know. And, you know, there's many people that obviously will say that it's like one of the worst experiences you could go through. and you're all alone. And I luckily, touch wood, thank God, it was all okay. And I do think it's the fault of the GP, which kind of sprung it up, where then I just started to become very anxious. So my entire second pregnancy was just built around being anxious about my pregnancy.
So it's like triggered the anxiety,
it
worrying.
Exactly. It triggered it, and I really struggled. I kind of started pushing my daughter away a little bit. So it did kind of fluctuate, but I started to get a lot more anxiety and panic attacks during my pregnancy. And then after he was born, I was definitely a lot more overprotective over him. I was at home, obviously. It took a year off to be with my little one. When I went back to work, I went back on a part-time status, but I would struggle again. I couldn't leave him. And the thing is, like, when you go to these midwives and things like that afterwards, and like, oh, do this little checklist and let us know how you're feeling and if you're doing okay, etc. All these, like, mother tests and stuff. You do them and you're just like, yeah, tick, 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 I'm fine. Inside, you're probably like dying, but you're like, no, it's fine, because one, you just think it's normal. Everyone goes through it. So why am I complaining?
Yeah.
And you might look too deep into this more than you need to, because it is a normal hormonal thing. Like, my hormones are all over the place. I'm a new mom. I've got like a 2-year-old and I've got a newborn.
You're
and
tired.
I'm tired. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then you might think too much into this, and what if you start looking to my family? What if you start looking to my kids? What if you like take my kids away from me? You get all these thoughts in your head, which are absurd thoughts, but you just rattle them off.
Intrusive.
And then you just kind of go, yeah, I'm fine, and you just call it a day.
So do you feel like you hid it then?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh wow.
Oh, definitely. Like, I didn't tell no health practitioner that, like, I was having anxiety attacks or anything like that. I would just
Did you have anyone to talk? Who did you talk to about it?
It was my husband.
Wow.
He knew everything about it. He was so supportive.
Yeah.
I didn't really talk to family about any of it because I just felt like they wouldn't really understand, because we don't really have these kind of conversations very often. Yeah, it's just kind of like, I'll deal with it myself. And then it got to a point where it got really, really bad, and I had to go see a GP. And that's when I spoke to my GP, and they referred me to Mind. And I started talking to them and doing, like, their
like
sort of work and therapy and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff, which, and that's when I kind of got involved with Mind on a personal level. But yeah,
it must have been so lonely to feel like that.
Hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. Thankfully I didn't go as bad as some people might end up as. I did have a support system, which was like my husband. He was fully aware of what I was going through, so he was helpful in all of that. And then I started speaking to my mum about it, because what I worked out later on was actually she used to suffer from panic attacks when we were younger. Yeah, and I only started remembering that time later, that she used to, they used to give those little brown bags.
Oh right, yeah.
The little brown bags.
Like
she used
to
carry one of those
out.
brown bags. Yeah, she used to carry a brown bag with her everywhere. And like, whenever she used to need it, she used to take it out and just breathe in, breathe out, like in that. And I remember seeing her do that as a child, but not actually fully understanding why she was doing that. It's only when I started to get these attacks and going through what I did, or sometimes I still do, that's when it kind of went, oh, like, that's what she was doing, like, she also went through that, and hers was more medical related, like, but again, she never spoke to me about it growing up. So again, it was like a subject that was never really talked about.
Wow. So
in the house,
so those discussions just didn't happen.
They didn't happen. No, they didn't happen. So you're so unaware of it growing up. And then at the time when we were in school, it wasn't a thing.
No.
Nowadays you see with our kids, like, they're going to school, they have like wellness and well-being and therapies and all sorts, and it's amazing. It's just fantastic.
Yeah,
I absolutely love that they're doing all of that, because it does need to be ingrained in you from a very young age.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Whereas with us, we're kind of learning it from an older age. As an adult, as an adult, we're kind of going, oh, we need to look into this, we need to talk to therapists, which again, like with us, within the Asian community, is like, oh, no, don't talk to a therapist. With us, for example, from the older generation, so even my parents' generation, like if I tell my dad, he'll be like, I'm not crazy. Why do I need to go speak to somebody? Like, it's that mentality. And, obviously his parents, that generation, they didn't even, they dealt with everything themselves. It was whatever was happening in their house, stayed in their house. If they wanted to confide in somebody, it would be like their parent or their sister or something. It wouldn't be outside of that circle. So to go to speak to a therapist was like a big no-no. And I think that's why mental health just hasn't been a very big subject, other than possibly being seen as a stigma within the society. It's not a big subject overall to kind of encourage people to go see this and talk to people about your issues.
It's seen as a weakness, isn't it? I think that's the stigma, that if you have any issues to do with your mental health, then you must be weak. But actually seeking help is the strongest and most bravest thing that you can do. So you did exactly the right thing. But when you're growing up within a family that doesn't speak about mental health, it must be so daunting to recognise that I don't feel myself to be the best mum and best human that I need to be. I've got to go and get some support with this. Because I know it's going to make me better. That's such a brave thing to do. And brave may not be the right word, because sometimes it's not. It's just having the courage, isn't it, to just say, I'm not well. I don't feel well. Because and this is the thing I always go back to. If you had a sore arm,
you'd go doctors.
You'd go to the doctors. If you had headaches all the time, you'd go to the doctors. If you're feeling really down or you're having anxiety attacks and panic attacks every day, you're not well. And it's just like that. It's not weak. No one says, oh, you're having headaches, so you must be a weak person. It's that those kinds of links aren't happening. It's just raising awareness that actually you're stronger for saying, I'm not well, can I have a little bit of help, please? And then I'll be better.
Well, that's it, exactly. And I think that's the mindset that needs to be changed. And it is shifting. It's not like it's not shifting. I definitely think, like, my generation now, we are talking a lot more. We are, especially within our own communities as well, we are talking a lot more. We're trying to create awareness. We are speaking with our families, the older generations, our children, to kind of make sure that, there is the nurture. We are kind of showing them that there is another kind of way that you can deal with mental health or panic attacks, anxieties, etc., rather than just kind of dealing it with yourself or keeping it inside you. So it is happening. It's still quite slow. It's not going to change overnight for sure, but all you can do is just carry on speaking about it and making sure that the awareness is out there.
And
social media definitely has helped in that respect, because you can reach so many more people. Like, I only have a couple of thousand followers. I'm not
only
a 10K. I'm not a 10K person.
Then when anyone says that to me, I just think of a secondary school full of teenagers, and there's only probably in a normal secondary school 1,200, and then you've got like two secondary schools worth. It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. But that's what I mean. Like, in the sense that, like, okay, I've got like 3,000 followers, but even if I reach one or two or a handful of them with what I talk about on my stories or through my posts, that's the 1-2 handful that I would never have been able to get to, like, in person. So social media does have that influence, which is really, really good. If used correctly, it can do some serious positive things.
Absolutely.
In creating awareness, in helping, in just kind of just triggering something, and just go, oh, like, I see these signs in me, or I see these signs in someone else. Maybe they need help, or maybe I need to speak to somebody, or just tiny little things, because you might not have that face-to-face contact. You might not have I don't know my followers by heart, like, I don't see them every day, but I know they're seeing my posts and I'm seeing other people's posts, and it's the whole idea of spreading that awareness that makes that massive difference in helping a cause, and something that is actually quite important, that we grow up not really thinking about or taking seriously.
What I feel is really important, and I have spoken about this on my Instagram, is just and like I struggle with mental health just sometimes I can be really, really down, which you wouldn't ever notice really from my stories, because I have like a toolkit that makes me feel well. So like when I was young, my childhood wasn't fantastic, and this is like the leftovers, like the hangover afterwards. I'm really aware of what those things are that make me feel down, and I have a toolkit that I do every single day. And as soon as I start feeling a little bit down, I'm like, that's because I haven't gone for a walk. That's because I haven't listened to my tunes. I have a playlist I listen to every single day. It's like my commute to work. Because obviously, like you, where's our commute? We don't go anywhere, so I listen to that every day. And what else do I do? I have a diary. I write all the time. I love writing. I make sure I talk to people. One of the reasons I started the podcast is to work on my own all the time. You know, I'm a very social person, but it's recognizing that it's okay to struggle with a bit of mental health. It's fine. Because still, this is the thing as well, it shouldn't hold you back if you let it. So if you get the right tools, the right support, have the right support network around you, understand that you can take action to support yourself. And I'm saying this from my point of view, definitely, that I've never let it hold me back. I do know that it can hold you back, but what it has held me back, that's probably me being too general there. It probably has held me back in some situations, but since I use my toolkit, I'm very good at coping with it, I suppose. I just cope. I cope quite well because of those things. But it's awareness that you can be aware of yourself. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get it 100%. And you know what kind of helps you get through those little points in the day or the week, or you know, where like you might not feel that 100% that you want to. And it is so important for you to find that, like, you know, everyone should have that. And no matter what, everyone should have those go-to things. And that's like where the whole self-care thing comes in, you know.
Absolutely.
Where that is your type of self-care. If you don't care for yourself in the morning by listening to your tunes or going for a walk, clearing your head, you know, something's not going to feel right. And that's because your brain becomes a bit foggy.
Absolutely.
You know, during the day, or gets bunged up, or, you know, with like so much stuff that's going on naturally. And we do that to ourselves, you know, and we do it unintentionally, subconsciously. It happens. And it's just for us to kind of wake up and go, hold on, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, you know, I need to do this. Or even just like 5 minutes of that will sort me out for the next 2 hours, and I'll be able to get through it.
And actually, going back to when we were saying at the beginning of the episode about self-care, I do that every day. So I do do self-care.
So that's your self-care. That's your self-care, because that makes you happy. That makes you feel better to be able to go through your day. And that's what self-care is. That literally is. It doesn't have to be something massive. It doesn't mean you spend a crap load of cash.
That's right.
You know, it doesn't. It's the tiniest things that we literally take for granted. That is all what self-care is.
I've got my 4 things in my toolkit. I've got my tunes, a walk, and I literally just take Jackson down the road to his childminder usually. Or today I steamed it around Tesco's, and or which doesn't really count, but that's all I can fit in today. I read a book and I write. Those are my 4 things.
That's it. And reading and writing is fantastic. Because writing, you can literally write anything. It can be like the brain dump. It can be your thoughts. It can be your negative thoughts that can be just written down and kind of just extracted from your mind so that you can kind of feel fresh. It could be something that you're passionate about. You know, writing does amazing things. Like I write a lot myself as well. You know, to the point where like I'm writing a book.
Me too.
I've got to the point where I'm writing a book. Isn't
it the best thing ever though? I say to everybody,
to that point.
Just write. Honestly, it's the best. I went through in February. I started writing 3 A4 pages every day. Have you heard about the morning pages?
I might have come across it.
So it's this task. I mean, I've really dipped off now, because 3 A4 pages every day, every morning is a lot. But I did it for about 6 months. I did it till about the beginning of August. I've got but like books, you're not even supposed to read them again, so I don't know why I'm keeping them, but it was all about just shoving everything onto
Yeah.
paper so I'm not carrying it. And it's just the most wonderful thing. And everybody, if I ever speak to anyone that is going through a tough time, I'm like, just don't talk to me talk to me about it, but
Yeah.
please go and write about it, because
Yeah.
the way, and again, for a small business owner, I'm my own best friend with my small business, because I'm the only person who knows it as well as me. So I write everything down and process it all. You know what I mean? It's
To
like,
get that clearer head around
absolutely, yeah.
what you're dealing with. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
That's it.
love it. I
It's having a
absolutely love
meeting
it.
with yourself.
Oh yeah, I do that too. Claire, what's on the agenda today? I do sometimes. Yesterday, when I was stressing about Christmas, I was like, okay, so we need to do this, and then we need to do that, and it's and I'm like, I'm talking to myself. It's absolutely fine. I'm talking to myself, but that's what you have to do. Whatever
That's what you have to
helps
do.
for you to cope, that's what
You do it.
I need to
Yeah.
do. Yeah, it's
That's
absolutely brilliant. Well done on your work though on that, because I imagine that when you start talking about something that no one really talks about, it is very daunting, but it's amazing that you're doing that work. It's really good.
No, it's I get a lot from it personally myself. I get a lot because if you've checked out some of the posts that I do
Yeah,
put up, they are quite in depth, like
yeah,
as much as you can write in the amount of spaces they give,
yeah,
letter size they give. But I do try and put in different type of things in each one to kind of just show that actually, you know what, like this is the real me. Like, yeah, I've got that smile on my face, I'm all happy go lucky and whatever. But actually, there is another side to me where I do go through things, like a normal person, and you do have those days where you don't want to talk to anybody, but you still just end up having to, because you have to deal with life at the end of the day. You can't really shut
absolutely.
yourself out, sadly. But it's just kind of braving through, and the sort of what I've gone through, if that helps one person even, then that's more than enough for me.
Oh,
Because
amazing,
yeah,
amazing.
it's just kind of giving out your experiences, right, to like other people that
Yeah,
might be experiencing but haven't noticed it, and so forth. And yeah, that's what I kind of do with Mind. And also we donate as well. So we, at the beginning of lockdown, everybody was donating out to the NHS, and I thought that's fantastic, and we were like, we need to do something as well. And obviously, you had the rainbows out for the NHS and things like that, and I actually had a rainbow garland already up on the website that we were selling. And I decided, well, the NHS is going to be inundated, fair enough. Everyone's supporting the NHS, which is really great. But actually, when we come out of this, people are going to need mental health. They're going to need those services. And that's from children to adults to NHS workers to every single person will need some type of mental support, because, we are going through a pandemic. It's a
mm,
crisis. Nobody knows what's going on. People have lost loved ones. People have been sick, and that is a really crucial network that needs to be
mm.
supported. And as charities go, they are underfunded,
Oh
and they
yeah,
have
the
to look.
whole
They
of
have to
mental
look
health
for
services.
other
Yeah,
ways of trying to fund themselves. So what we did was we started putting money away from each of our rainbow garland sales, and sending it across to them. Again, it's not massive. It's not massive amount, but that is something that I'm just continuing now. It's going to carry on just
mm.
till the end of time.
Amazing, amazing.
It's something I'm not gonna stop that, because I just feel like that's just a continuous charity that I, as I do talk about them quite a lot, and I have got that personal connection that I just want to kind of give back as
Yeah,
well. And
yeah.
other than spreading awareness financially, if I can give back even a little bit, it makes a massive difference.
Oh,
So yeah.
amazing. Amazing, Heena. I always end the podcast with this question. What would you tell yourself 10 years ago that you wish you'd
Oh,
known then, but you do know it now?
I'll say trust your gut.
Yeah.
Definitely trust your gut, because, and don't rush. Society has like a threshold on you that you need to hit certain things by certain age groups. You need
Yeah.
to be married by a certain age. You need to have children by a certain age. You need to, I don't know, you need to be accomplished by a certain age.
Yeah.
Don't fall for that trap, because that trap is evil. Like, you know, it can hold you back, but also it could push you forward. It's like a two-sided thing. Like, I am very lucky and fortunate that I have a husband that supports 100%. You know, because without his support, I would not be able to do what I'm doing today. And obviously, if I knew that 10 years ago, I'd say, yeah, go for it. But if I didn't know that 10 years ago, I don't know, I would have said, just don't get married so soon. You know, actually live your life a little bit. Give yourself a bit of a chance, explore the world a bit, grow. Like, be more, find out who you are before you become someone's wife, partner, mother, you know. Because there is so much to learn before you do that.
Yeah.
And I definitely did it too early. But what I have gained from doing it too early is that I've gained a husband who's actually taught me lots. Stuff that I wasn't aware of before I got married, because my circle of friends were a certain type, you know, just things like that. There were certain types. Whereas he's actually brought a different part of me into, like, he's awoken a different part of me that I never had. And I probably might not have had for ages if I hadn't met him, to be very fair. So the credit is due where it's due.
Yeah, I think the same about my husband. I was always exactly the same. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah,
I didn't marry him too young though. He was
no.
he was an old man. No, he was 32 when I met him, but he was set in his ways.
Yeah, no, I got married at 23.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was young. I'd come out of uni, and I think I was working for about a year and a bit, and then the arranged marriages started coming through, and I was like, yeah, all right then. But yeah, but yeah, no, it was good. It was good. I'm quite glad I found him.
Where can people find you, Heena?
You can find my website at mummiesbubble.com, or on Instagram, which is where I'm mainly on. Again, handle is mummiesbubble.
Amazing.
So, yeah, that's where you'll find me.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Heena. Honestly, it's been lovely, and I really, really have enjoyed your time, and you're very interesting. I loved it. I
ramble loads.
No, absolutely not. But I love it's when you are in a small business, and I know that we talk about there's lots of networks out there for small business owners now, but it's just recognizing that everybody feels the same, and it's absolutely normal to feel like this as a small business owner. It's absolutely normal to, you know, self-sabotage, be an imposter, but also love every single bloody minute.
That's it.
Well,
100%.
Yeah, maybe 90% of every minute. I don't like doing my accounts.
Yeah. Can I say I second that, third that, and fourth that. Anything to do with paperwork, go to my husband.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do all of it now. This is the thing. I've got to start thinking bigger about stuff like that. But anyway, that's a chat for another day.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Heena. I've really, really enjoyed it. I think that's it's been brilliant.
Oh, no worries, Claire. It's been lovely, and thank you so much for asking me to come onto your podcast.
You are
absolute pleasure.
So welcome. Thank you so much, Heena. Take care of yourself.
See you later, Andy.
See you later. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Written, produced and hosted by Claire Hill, and music has been composed by my brother, Phil Vidler.